Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Gen Con Online 2020, and this is Kosmos Games. You're here with me, Tom, and Jesus. But before we get too far, I want to make sure you all can hear both me and Jesus. So, Jesus, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Jesus Sanchez. A lot of you probably demoed games with me and dealt with Tom at Gen Con and many other events. Let us know that you can hear us.
So there's a little bit of a lag. We were talking like yesterday. People were responding, and you can see they're responding, but we are recording about 30 seconds ahead of the live stream. So hopefully people are responding now. We just don't even know it, or vice versa. There you go. All right, they can hear us.
Awesome. Good.
Okay. So I'm just gonna quickly introduce what we're gonna do in this video. Majority of the time is going to be handled by Jesus, though. He's going to walk you through the game. We're going to talk about the crew. I'm very excited about the crew because the crew just won the Kennerspiel this Jahres award, which is a fantastic honor. It's great because, I mean, it's nice to get the award, but it's also just nice that so many people have recognized how much fun this game is, and that's what's great. So Jesus is going to talk about the game, why it's cool, why it's fun, who it's for, like who the intended audience is for, and then we're gonna go and walk you through how this game plays. It's a very simple game, so I think we'll have time to actually walk through like a round or a demo around. But before we do any of that, we're gonna play this quick little teaser video. So. And we're back. That was nice. That was a very quick video. But it's great because it just plays like a lot of quotes from some of the early reviews. We've had a lot more reviews since then, so I feel bad that we're missing some of those quotes, but maybe we'll update that. All right, so Jesus, I'm going to hand the time over to you. Talk about the crew, which is right here in components right here next to us.
Yeah. So the crew is a fantastic game. I think before we get that out of the way, like before we start talking about this, I've been wanting to do this to you, Tom, and I think I'm going to use this time to do this, to just say ground control to me. I just like I hope that becomes a thing with you. Okay, but anyway, so the crew. What makes this game so awesome is that it's a cooperative game, which is fantastic, but it's also a trick-taking game, which is really, really, really cool. It's like the idea of trick-taking is such a simple concept, and the way the crew does it is wonderful. So for those that don't know what a trick-taking game is, it's a game that you basically have to follow a suit. And in the case of the crew, the suits are colors. Or if, I have a few friends that are actually colorblind, which I think is really cool, that all of the cards have little symbols on them. So even if you can't really distinguish different colors, there's like these nice little symbolage on the cards, which is cool. But essentially a trick-taking game is someone will throw a card on the table. It can be any number, any color, and everyone else has to play a card from their hand that is that same suit or that same color. And in a classic trick-taking game, whoever has the highest number wins the trick. So when you play a card to the table like Tom is doing right now, so let's say someone played a 6, someone played a 5, and someone played a 1. Whoever played the 6 would win that trick. What makes the crew unique is you have this awesome little deck of cards which is like a duplicate of all of the suits. And you have to go on these missions to where you are going to be dealing out these little cards to different players, and it will tell you which player has to win which card, which is where the fun comes in. Now, that sounds like it's super easy, because it's like, oh, well, if Tom has to win the one of green, I'll just tell Tom, hey, Tom, like, I'm going to throw the one of green. You got to throw higher than that. But in the crew, because it's based in space, you can't talk in outer space. So you can't really communicate with each other openly. There's a really unique way to communicate with each other in this game. You can play a card in front of yourself that is not playing it to the trick. You're just laying it in front of yourself. And then you have these little green and red communication tokens that Tom is holding up. And you get to place that on one of three areas of your card. You could place it on the top, which is telling you that that is the highest number you have of that suit. If you put it in the middle, thank you, Vanna, it is telling everyone that that is the only card of that suit that you have. If you place it at the bottom, you're letting everyone know that that is the lowest number you have in that suit. Now, not only do you have that, I am super forgetful, and I played this the other day, and I use this all the time. Every time that you play a card in front of you with your signal token, you're going to take one of these awesome, like, are they moon cards? They look like some sort of, like, collapsing star or something. But you're
the moon, or it is a moon.
It is a moon, and it's double-sided, and it's just a placeholder in your hand. And it's like, to me, it was a big red flag that was like, hey, dummy, you have a card in front of you on the table that you can still use, because the card you communicate with is still in essence in your hand. It's just a way for you to let your other crew members know what is going on. So if Tom had the 9 of pink and he also had the 8 of pink, he might want to put that's the highest pink he had, but it might actually be smarter to put the 8 on the table and put the token on the bottom, saying that is the lowest 8, because now that's signaling to me that that's the lowest which means that it's not the only pink he has. So I'm like, oh, he probably has the 9. So that is a good way to communicate with the game. That's essentially how you play the game. Everyone's going to play a card, and whoever has the highest card is going to win. The strategy comes with, you have to figure out, without talking, who has to win each trick at a certain amount of time. And I'm going to tell you straight up, like, the game seems, it will creep up on you. It's like a ghost chili pepper. Like, it just sneaks up on you, because it starts off with, like, we played, my wife and my 14-year-old daughter, we played this last night for a while. And the very first mission, it took us like 15 seconds. And it was like, boom. And we were like, oh, we got this. It ain't nothing. And because when you complete all of your missions, you don't have to finish playing out the round. And so, like, we won right away, and it was awesome. And we were like, yeah, we feel great. And then a few minutes later, we got to a higher mission, and it was like, boom, it just like kicked us in the teeth. And the way that it kind of progresses is so fantastic. Like, it's so simple that I really feel like, it says in the box that it's for ages 10. I feel like my 8-year-old son could probably play this and get it, because it's really simple, and the way that it escalates throughout the missions is pretty fantastic. So, and there's the other thing too, is that there are 50 missions. So you can play this in order. You can kind of jump around. There's a logbook, which I appreciate the fact that there is a theme to this that makes it a little more interesting to me. Like, yeah, it's a trick-taking game. Like, how are you going to theme up a trick-taking game? But I really like how they theme this up, where it's like you're astronauts trying to find the 9th planet. You have to go on these missions, and it's like, I like that the first couple of missions in the logbook, it kind of pokes fun at you. It's kind of like, yeah, this mission is just for y'all to get to know each other, to make sure you can work together. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's whatever. And then all of a sudden you start getting into where like you're trying to do this. Here's how you do this. And it's really, really cool the way that it comes with, and I'm sure, Tom, you can pull up some of these tokens that comes with it. So the way that it kind of changes what you're going to do is it will tell you in each mission how many cards you're going to deal out. And Tom's going to show that there. So it will show you, like, for instance, that mission is telling you that there are, that's one?
3. Yeah, sorry, the camera here isn't very clear. It might be better if I do it this way.
Yes. So it's saying that there are 3 missions that will, that 3 cards are going to be dealt out. And then it's going to give you some tokens. And let's do a little example, Tom, of how to do that. So
sure. Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's pretend that we have, we're going to have 5 cards, okay? And then we're going to have tokens 1, 2, and 3 come out. By the way, folks, I'm creating this right out of the air, which I think is also someone that's a creative person. I think it's cool that you can kind of mix and match this stuff like this too, if you feel like it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to lay your tokens out. Then you're going to deal cards out to them. Now, starting with the mission commander who has the ground control to Major Tom token, that token is going to signal who is going to play the first card of the trick. And what's really cool about that is it is signaled by, after you deal out the whole deck of cards evenly, whoever ends up with the 4 rocket, which is kind of what we call a trump card. This card beats everything, and there's only 4 of them in the deck. So whoever has a 4 becomes the mission commander. Mission commander will choose one of the missions that they're going to do. So if I took the 1, the next person might take someone might take the number 2, has a token on it. And then eventually these will all be divided out between the players. And what the tokens are signaling, in this case, the number tokens are telling us the order the tricks have to be won in. So the very first trick that we have to complete in our mission, that's really important. It's not the first trick to be done in general. It's the first trick that you complete in your mission would have to be the one with the number 1 token on it. The second one would have to be the number 2. And the third one would have to be the number 3 token. And then the other 2, you can choose to do however you want. If there were no tokens on them, you could complete those missions in any way. Tom, can you swap out for the arrow tokens on those, the 1, 2, and 3 arrow tokens?
Sure.
These work slightly different. It still kind of gives you an order, but it's not so constricted. Like, it's not, you don't have to do them. You don't have to do the first arrow, then the second arrow, then the third arrow. All those are saying is that you have to do them before each other. So I could do the first 2 tricks that don't have arrows on them at all. And then I could do the first arrow, but then I would have to do the second one. Or I could do the first arrow, and then I could choose to do a trick in between it, and then the second arrow, a couple tricks in between it, then the third arrow. It gives me a little more wiggle room, as I like to say, but it's still difficult because there are some missions where it's like, right here, we got it like set up like Jesus style, which is like training wheels with baby steps. But there's some missions where you have like 10 cards out and all of these different tokens all over it. There's also a token that will tell you that has to be the very last trick that's taken. which is pretty awesome. There's also a few other symbolage that we don't really. I mean, Tom, if you want to show it, you can. But it's some.
Jesus, can I say? Can we maybe go through like a quick round, real quick?
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
Let's do like the very first scenario.
Awesome, yeah, which is great because I feel like I could even pass that one. So
you say that, but you're playing with me now.
That's true. That's
true. I usually take the team down a few notches. Well, let's pretend we're playing with 3 people.
Okay.
So I'm going to deal the cards out to 3 imaginary people.
Yeah, and this is it says in the book that this is a team building exercise, which is a good way of saying they want to make sure they didn't make a mistake by choosing us to do this. And in the book, as Tom's setting it up, it says that there is going to be one mission, and in the book, it doesn't say there's no tokens, there's nothing. So first thing Tom did was he dealt all of the cards out evenly between all the players. Now, I should note that in a 3-player game, that one player is going to have an extra card, which just, if you ever get to the end of the cards, which if we get to the end of the cards on mission 1, there's something seriously wrong with us, which might happen. But then everyone would look through their cards, and we would find whoever has the number 4 rocket in their hand. They would say, hey, I'm going to be mission leader, and they would get the mission leader token. Now, we would then shuffle the little deck of cards, which Tom has already done, or I thought he did, but
I just did it again. Ooh, that's an interesting one.
So that is the 9, and you know what's kind of cool, folks, is it's hard for me to see the colors, but what's cool is I'm looking at that symbol, so I know that it's a blue, which is awesome. So the 9 of blue. Now, in this case, because there's only one objective, it automatically goes to the mission commander, because mission commander always chooses first. So then Tom, being the mission commander, would hopefully not mess this up for us, and he would.
This is going to be tough because I don't have any blue cards.
Ooh, yeah.
But what I do have is I have a bunch of yellow cards.
That's true.
Because I've played this game a few times, I know what I can do strategically is if I play a bunch of yellow cards, everyone else will run out of yellow cards, and then I will win all of the cards they slough off, which could be the blue 9. That's what I'm thinking in my head, but I can't actually communicate this to everyone else.
That's true.
Technically.
Also, another strategy, which might not be the best strategy, which you might think is, well, I'll just lead with a rocket card. There's only 4 of those, but statistically, everyone's going to have a rocket card, and they're going to have to follow with that. So you're going to basically blow everybody's wild cards out right away, which would not be good.
I've got 2 rocket cards. There's a good chance I could pull this off, but there's not a guarantee.
That's true. And so you could, like you said, you could wear out yellows because you have a lot of yellows. So there's only 9, and that's something I didn't mention. There's only 1 through 9 of each suit. So if you have like 5 yellow cards, there's a good chance you're going to outplay everybody. And then hopefully your partners are smart enough to know to throw off. When you throw off, what that means is that you don't have any cards in your hand of that color. That's the only way in this game that you can play a rocket card or a color of a different suit that is not following the colors in the middle of the table. So let's say that Tom played all his yellow cards. So the
9. Second player played 7. Third player played 6. So I won that.
Yep, awesome. And since he won, he would get to lead again. So now he's playing an 8.
And this player is going to play their 1. I don't know if this one has any more yellow. This one's done with yellow. So this is a great opportunity. This player doesn't have any more yellow. So he can play any card he wants. If this player had the 9, it would be a great opportunity to give that to me, the first player, but this player doesn't have any. So instead, I'm still going to play a different color because I have to. I'm also going to play this blue card to kind of show everyone, like, I'm aware of what you're trying to do, but I can't actually help you. So
yeah, it's a good way. That is a good signal. That's a good uncommunicative thing. Like, you can't talk about it, but that's a good way. I automatically know, all right, that player has no more yellow left.
So, and then this player will play this card. So I'm still winning as the commander.
Yeah.
I just won that because I had the yellow 5. And second player played the 3. And the third player here, they played a green card. When you play out of suit, you cannot win. Unless you play one of the rocket cards. The rocket cards always win.
Yep. And that's what trump means, is that it always wins.
So this player, second player, doesn't have any more yellow cards, so you can play any card they want. It would be really funny to play this rocket card, but because we're cooperative and we want to win, second player is going to throw down that blue 9. We'll throw down this green 6. So
now,
because I started with the 4, I win, which means we as a team cooperatively won.
Yes. Now, it's good to know that, like, even though the numbers were higher, for those that might not know what a trick-taking game is, and I don't mean to talk, because this game really isn't that complex, but there are some people that don't play trick-taking games, and this is a good way to get into it. It's the only reason that you won is because you led with a color, and nobody else could play that color. So it doesn't matter what they play, unless they play a rocket card, which no rocket cards came out, but they could play anything. They could play a 9 of blue, but because you played yellow, they automatically lose. And the object was to get you to win that 9. So they kind of, what we call throw off. They threw off that 9 knowing that it was going to go to you. But that was good. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Tom, that took us a little longer than it took me and my family. Or also gamers. I understand not everyone is a gamer.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I'm usually the one that brings the team down, and since I was playing every character, hey, I passed the first mission by myself. I'm pretty happy about that. You can definitely see, though. I love that you can see in this quick little example how communication is so key. If I couldn't see those other cards, I would have no idea who had that blue 9 until, of course, you could have, and we didn't communicate anything, right? I could have put down, like this yellow 2 and said that's my lowest card of yellow, letting people know, oh, I've got a lot of yellows. Yeah.
Now it's also like, what I really like too is that the mission commander, it doesn't go around the table. It has, there's not really a rhyme or reason to it. It's like whoever ends up with that is the mission commander. So this would have played out completely different had the person that had that 9 been mission commander, because they could have just led with that 9 and it would have been over. And that's what happened with us. Now I'm going to look in the rule book really quick, because there was a piece of information in this rulebook that I thought was amazing, and it was how many different ways you could play the very first mission. Do you know that offhand?
So
I know
I watch these. I watch and I read science YouTubes and blogs all the time because I'm fascinated by it. And one that I recently watched, there's a YouTube video about the number of combinations in shuffling a deck.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So, and this deck would be similar to a regular playing deck. There's fewer cards, but not by much. But the number of possibilities when you shuffle a deck is so numerous. There's so many possibilities that there's a good chance when you shuffle a deck, it's a completely new order of cards. That sounds crazy, but it's true, because the variety, one placement can change the whole order of things. That being said, you'll never play the same game twice in this.
Yeah, no. Actually, do we have time? Can you deal it out real quick? Let's see if the first mission, let's see how it plays out just one more time. And we could, let's do this one
Let's do the second mission.
Say that. Oh yeah, second mission. So the second mission, how many? Let's see. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say this too. Like, if people can see my screen, what I think is fantastic too is the rule book is simple. It's easy to follow, which is great. But also, I like that you didn't give. There's not like a whole bunch of different books. So like the log book that you keep seeing, folks, is literally on the back of the rule book, flipped upside down. So you can't mistake that and like run into it on accident. You literally have to take the rule book, flip it over, and turn around, which is really cool. And the logbook, we didn't really mention this, but the logbook has a space that you can keep track of each mission, like how you've done on it. There's a little helper in there that we'll call it the Handy Tom helper, the little signal flare, the distress signal that you can send out. So the distress signal, it works. It's just an easier way for you to play the game. And it's not it doesn't make it like completely winnable every time, but it allows you to pass a card to the person sitting next to you, each one. And then there's actually a space in the book that you mark that you use the distress signal to say, hey, you know what? I needed a little help on this one. So, all right. So, Tom, I kind of want you to walk through this.
Yeah.
Don't really tell us what you're thinking. Let's see if you can do that. Like, so people can hear the silence of space, like what it's really like.
I mean, right. This is how, if we were playing, the table would be silent. Although I will say, every time I go on BGG, there's someone who's always asking, like, can I say this? Can I say that? Mm-hmm. To be fair, the rules are there as a suggestion, and the rules say don't talk at all. But if you and your group want to talk, like before everyone looks at their cards, if you guys want to talk about, like, okay, last time we didn't win because of this, let's try it this way this time. Up to you and your group. Totally fine.
Oh, and that's one of the things too I wanted to really point out too is about communication, because it is so important in this game of kind of, you know, yes, you can talk a little bit if you need to, but I really like to do the theme of like stay with it. What I really like is that it's really important. Tom, can you pause for 1 second?
Yeah. Sorry, I get excited. I just want to play this game.
Okay, this is good. I wanted you to do this. So he has started a trick. So now it is the third player's turn. No, I want you to keep the trick started. It's now the third player's turn. They cannot communicate now. It has to be before the trick is started.
Correct.
Like, it cannot be in the middle of it. So it's not like on that player's turn they can lay a card down and then communicate with it. It's like, now the trick is complete. So the mission commander won that 8, which is awesome because they had it. And that goes face down. Now that there's no trick started, someone could communicate now. But once that first trick is played, then you're going. So if someone else had the 9 of pink, like, and they didn't communicate that, like, they would kind of ruin it for the whole team. So that's really important, is that you have to. I made that mistake a few times. Like, it would be my turn and I would be like, oh, I'm going to communicate. And then my wife would be like, hey, you're supposed to know how to play games. Like, what do that in the middle of a trick? Like, that makes it easy. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so this third player, or second player, however you're numbering them, 1, 2, second player, they just communicated that they have the pink 7. It's their highest pink card. And that's important because this first player here needs the 7. But yeah, it's the commander. The commander just won, so the commander needs to start this next trick. So I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pretend like I don't know what's going on. Ooh.
It's not a far stretch there, Tom.
I do know what's going on, and this is still difficult. But I'm going to play... Yeah, I'm going to play this, we'll say. For some weird reason. Second player, they're like, okay, well, I only have 1 card left, which is this one.
That's player, no, that's not a good
This player knows that the 7 won't go to them, so we're not going to play the 7 right now. But they'll play the 5.
Hey, Tom, why wouldn't that player play a rocket right now?
Why would they?
Well, they couldn't. It was kind of my point, because with my daughter, she kind of had that thing. She was like, "Well, why wouldn't, if I need to win that, why wouldn't I just play a rocket right away?" And I said, "Well, because it's important. You can't. A rocket's not an option unless you don't have the suit."
Yep, that's a very good point.
I think
haven't had to use a rocket yet, but in this case, the second player here, they won because they put down the 5,
which is awesome because it also shifts the power into their control. That's the kind of the thing with this game too, is like when you're not leading, the control is a kind of out of your hands. Like you're like, I don't know what to do.
Boy. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I literally don't know. So second player played a pink 6, first player played a 9 pink. This player now doesn't have any other pink cards, but they still need to get that pink 7. So that's going to be tricky. But we'll get rid of some low cards.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the commander wins this. Well, you'd think it'd be easy, right?
Yeah, by yourself. Yeah, you would imagine.
All right. Since I think this player wants to get rid of the hand. This player can pick up the hand by playing the 6 yellow. This player is like, I don't want to take it away, so I'm going to play below that. So now the first player here now has control. Now that's really important because it makes it easier for them to win. And this player has quite a bit of green, so we're going to flush out everyone's green, and hopefully that 7 will come up. And this player has a couple greens. This player does as well. We're going to get rid of that 8. So first player played the 9, which means they win. First player starts again with the 7. This is we're gonna win, but I'm gonna show how. I don't know if people can actually see this, but so 7, 1, and 6, which means the first player who played the 7 is gonna take this trick.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're gonna play, because I've been card counting. I know what everyone has. I'm gonna play this 5. This player doesn't have any greens, which means they're free to play any card they want. And they know I want that card, so they're going to play it. I'm going to flip this token over to show everyone that I've already communicated. And now this player's only job is to make sure they don't take that away. And they can play this, which is out of color from the original suit, which means the first player wins this. And we win.
Nice. I'm actually kind of kicking myself because I saw this and yesterday when I was looking through this and I'm like, where is this? Like there was this awesome little thing in here that talked about how many different ways that is to just play the very first one. And it was so cool. And I'm like kicking myself for I didn't mark it. And I'm like, oh man.
It's a big number.
Yeah, it's huge. It was mind blowing to me. So, but it was, anyway, like it's up in the thousands and thousands of ways to play it, like which is crazy good.
I mean, if you take into account the shuffling of the deck, I mean, it's even higher than that. It's got to be in the bazillions.
Yeah. I mean, like it's. And like I said, like what I think is, well, first off, if you play 50 games of this, like you have more than got your money's worth. Like, I mean, but what is also cool is that you can literally, like yesterday, I was telling Tom before we started that I was playing this with my wife who loves trick-taking games and my daughter who has never played a trick-taking game. And we played a few rounds and it was so addictive. Like normally I'll play a game with them and they're not real big gamers, but they play games. And like, it was like, you want to play another one? You want to play one more? And I'm like, yeah. And my poor little like 7-8-year-old son is like running around my basement and he's like, are you guys done yet? And we're like, just one more we're gonna play. And then finally it got to the point like where we had played enough and we were doing pretty awesome, and I just looked at my daughter and I said, just pick a number between, I think we were on mission like 10. I was like between 11 and 50, and she was like 49, and so we just flipped to 49 and we did it and we lost. I'm gonna say that, like, we lost right away.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. And it was like, even after we did that, my wife was like, are we going to be done now? And I'm like, yeah, we better. It's getting kind of late. But
yeah,
it's
49 has 10 cards. So you have 10 of those mini cards that you need to assign to people. That's wild.
Yes.
I haven't actually made it that far. I'm not an accomplished astronaut.
Well, me neither. I mean, I cheated and jumped past everybody, so I like kind of took like a drop pod and just went off on my own. But
I've probably played this game hundreds of times, easily hundreds of times. But I still haven't made it past mission 20, and I'm totally content teaching a new group how the game plays and playing through the first 20 missions or 10 missions or however many, because sometimes it takes longer than other times.
Yeah.
But I'm totally happy doing that because, like you said before, we've said, other times there's so many possibilities, even within the first mission, let alone the first 10.
Yeah. And what I really enjoy about this game is that, like I have a ton of games in my house, and there are a ton of games that you have to quote campaign, but they're very time consuming. Like to do to do a campaign of a game is like hours and hours. Like I say there's 50 missions in here. You can knock out 5 or 10 of those in 45 minutes if things go well. But it's not like they're unfulfilling either. It's not like, you're playing mission 1 is just that. It's to get you. It's almost easier to teach someone mission 1 than to read through the rule book with them, because it actually takes longer to read through the rule book than it does to really understand this game. Like, which is cool. Like, I mean, that's how it should be, right? I mean, one person should read it and then be able to simplify it in a couple of ways. Like, anyone that's watching this will not really have to read the rule book other than references. If you know a trick-taking game, you really know this game. I mean, there's a few little quirks here and there, but those are things you can do in passing, and it's really easy to jump into. And I really think that this is a very, very well-deserved game of the Kenner. Like, I mean, it's like, it is legit. It is a good game. I keep telling everyone, when this first came out, which, like your copy and my copy doesn't have that nice little Kennerspiel, thing that it will eventually have. But I keep telling everyone, there's been shops that I'll go into that will have one copy of this. And I'm like, you need to post this online right now that you have this, because give it a month or two. This is not going to be, people are going to be snagging this anytime they see it. And so, like, there's a couple of stores that I frequent that have just been kind of almost stocking up on it because they know that it's going to come and it's going to, like, go.
It's been doing very well for sales, and it's regrettable that there was a short time right before the award was announced that we had run out, and I think a lot of stores had run out, but it is fully in stock now. And you can get it online or your local game store. I wanted to mention really quick, Jesus, because you said something earlier, so I'll just touch back on that.
Okay.
about, and I'm referencing a review I saw for this game. It was no pun included or intended. They reviewed The Crew, and one thing that they said that I thought was really cool is that this game, trick-taking style game, which is what we've been doing, is something that your grandma might be able to actually teach you how to play. Because
Absolutely.
if you've played bridge or euchre or hearts or any of these classic games that have been around forever, you'll pick up this game in no time. So yeah, talk to your grandma about trick-taking games. If she plays bridge, she'll probably school you in this. Although you'll be on the same team, so.
Yeah, which is like, and like hopefully my wife won't get too upset for me saying this. When I first got together with my wife, like, she loves trick-taking games. Like, she loves, like spades, and she loves, euchre. And in those games, like especially euchre, you have a partner that you can communicate with, and that's almost like, it's kind of the closest to this, like, is in the fact that your team is trying to win a certain amount of tricks and things like that. But anyway, I cannot play that with my wife, because my wife is a calm and loving person until she plays euchre, and then if I mislay or misplay a trick, like, it's like fire eyeballs. And like, so at least in this, we're all working together. So if anyone mislays a trick, it's like, oh, let's just do it again. Like, the other way, she's like, I can't believe, why would you do that? Why? Like, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Missions are quick in this. It doesn't ruin your day, right? When you fail a mission, you just pick it back up. Jesus, I wanted to make sure we give people time to ask questions. I know we've got some people watching, and we can keep talking about The Crew, but I'm just letting everyone know that I've got the comment section up here. So if you have any questions about The Crew or any Kosmos games, availability, anything at all, just ask away.
If Mike's still on, no questions for Mike. I don't want, or if Oscar's on, I don't want to hear from either one of them. It's been a blessing for me to not have to deal with them in a booth this year. Like, I mean,
let's see. From the rule book, page 12, with 4 players in the first mission alone, there are 42 trillion possible ways that the cards can be distributed.
Awesome. What page did they say that was?
Page 12. This is a comment on YouTube. So yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. I see it. Thank you so much. And it's almost as if it was color coded, so it could be dummy proof, but I managed to not see it. It's okay, for those that can't see, it's right here, and it's a different color than the whole rest of the pages, and I still overlooked it. And it is also bold. So it's in big black print too. So yeah,
easy to overlook is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I think it's user problem.
Jesus, I got a question for you.
All right.
People want to know what games are behind you. I see some Kosmos games. What you got?
Yeah, there's actually a whole bunch of. I have on this. There's thousands of games behind me, but what I have right here is a whole bunch of Kosmos games that I really, really have enjoyed. I got Emotep the Duel. I got some unopened exits because there's so many, and I like to play those solo. That like, and like, I have the Catacombs of Horror. I'm scared to death to play this because I'm also not very smart. So like, I'm like 1 or 2 level, but I have Roll for Adventure.
You should play with other people. Jesus, with Exit the Game,
yeah.
I feel like I'm okay at escape room games and puzzles and riddles and things like that. But every single time I play, perfect example. I was playing the other day remotely with some people, and someone who was playing they had their kid on. The kid was like 12, maybe 10. I can't remember. Anyway, they caught something that no one else saw. It's really about having multiple eyes. Not saying that you can't do them on your own, because you absolutely can, but just those extra pair of eyes and everyone thinks a little bit differently.
Usually, if I don't play it by myself, I'll play it with my wife because she's really good at that stuff and she really, really likes those. The reason I play it by myself is, once again, she can't tolerate the lack of brain skill that I have. But no, I mean, I have a lot of Kosmos games in here. I have Steam Time, which I think is out of print now, but it's a fantastic game too.
I love Steam Time. It's such a good Rudiger Dorn game.
Yes, and you will notice those out there, it is Steam Time. It is not Steam O Time. It's not, the cog is a hyphen.
I didn't know that people were making or assuming that.
There are some people that think that the cog is an O, and it's like, no. It's just dividing the words.
So I got a question here. What happens if during a trick you accomplish 2 of the tasks and one of them isn't yours? Good question.
That's a really good question. So let's address this in 2 parts. If you complete more than one task and they are all yours, congrats, because that is awesome. If at any time you complete a task that is not yours, you lose. Period.
The whole team? The whole crew?
Yes.
You all lose together?
Tom, I mean, this is a cooperative game, and that tends to be the general idea. There's no traitor mechanism.
What if it wasn't your fault, Jesus? What if you weren't the one who made the mistake?
You know what? If I crash the spaceship into a moon, it doesn't matter who crashed it. We're all down. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
So yeah, so if at any time you complete an objective that is not yours, your entire team loses again. But don't fret. It is super easy to reset up and try again, and you will need to. So yeah, you can actually complete multiple objectives at once, but if you complete an objective that's not yours, you lose. So don't do that.
All right, so moving on to Targi the expansion. A question about that. Is that releasing in the U.S. soon? It is releasing in the U.S. soon. The boat is on its way here, or it's so close that it's hard to know exactly the timeline, but projected within 2 weeks it should be available. Maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later. This year has been a hard one to any kind of release date's a moving target, but it should be available very soon.
I'm showing this not to brag. I'm showing this so that you can see that, unlike some like other versions that we've had at conventions and stuff, like where we have the German version because the American one isn't done, this one is in English and it is done. Yep. So it is very close to being done, folks. So really just hold on, like Tom said, but it's not we're waiting for it to finish printing. It's done. It's on its way. So yeah, so keep it out. And I know there's a ton of people that are excited about that, because I remember when we got Targi, it was like right away, the first year we had it and put it out, the first question everyone said was, "I'll take it, and are you bringing the expansion over?"
Yep.
Are you bringing it? And we're like, that's the plan. So it's here.
That was a great case of us as a publisher relying a lot on the comments that we get from users. And I really encourage everyone, if there's like a Kosmos game that you want to see, you gotta let us know, right? I mean, if we were at a live convention, if we were at Gen Con right now, you could come up and tell me, or you can send me an email, or you can write it in the comments right now. Any of these ways, you can send me an email anytime. contact@thamesandcosmos.com. And we love to hear from people what they want to see. This is a perfect example of, we got tons of requests for it. And so it took us maybe a year longer than we wanted, but I mean, good things come to those who wait, and this is a very good thing.
And hey, you know what's awesome too is it's not like you have to do the running with the bulls to get it. Like
right.
That's one of the things too that before we take another question, that I really appreciated about the Kosmos family and the whole Kosmos philosophy is that we tend to not want to make people run for a limited amount. We would rather hold back and get it to everyone equally than to be like, we only have 6 copies of Target the Expansion. Like if we were at Gen Con right now, we might have 10 copies of it, but we would not be limiting the 10 copies for Gen Con. I know that Kosmos would be like, no, we'd rather you go to your local store and buy it, which I always appreciated.
Yeah.
By the way, I should mention that there are more free Kosmos events coming up, and if you are, interested in the expansion for Targi, tomorrow at 2, I will be here again with Tom, showing the expansion, which is it's fantastic. It's a nice addition to it, which is it's great. So
it's great. Yeah, I totally agree. Let's see. Let's move on. Game availability. I assume this is about the crew. Yeah, so like I said earlier, right before the award was announced, we had been on back order. And that's unfortunate. We heard the hype, right after Essen last year. We heard the hype, so we increased our orders for the crew, and we thought we were going to be set, and it just, the expectation, or not the expectation, the demand exceeded even our highest hopes for the game, which is great for us. And then to complicate that, obviously this year being a very unique year with the pandemic, international shipping is difficult, so we expected to have the game back earlier than we did, but it is available now. So we've shipped it off to distributors. Distributors should be shipping it to local game stores, and if they don't have it, we still have it. It's available. And if you really want to get a copy, I obviously always recommend going to your local game store because I like supporting my local game store, but it is available on Amazon as well.
Yeah, and so for those that might be a little like my wife, I mean, clearly you can see from behind me, I'm not very frugal about buying games, but my wife would be. So for those that have a significant other, whether it be a wife, husband, or whoever is in charge of your wallet, this does not do a lot of damage to that. What is the price point on the crew?
A mere $14.95.
Nice.
And these are nice linen cards. A thick log book with 50 missions. There's a lot there.
Yeah, the card stock is very nice. It is even on the little cards, which I hate little cards, but I actually like these. I like little cards when it's for like this, like where it's giving us objectives. Like if the crew was this little deck of cards in my giant gorilla hands and I had to play this whole game, I might be turned off. I appreciate that you have Jesus-sized cards included in it, but yeah, I mean, the production value is awesome. And I know, like, it doesn't do it justice seeing it, for this, but like, I love the artwork on the cards. It's so simplistic, but it's still, it's great. It's not like all green cards are not the same, like that is awesome. Like, I love the artwork. I love how I love how they go. I was just about to say that. I love how they go together, which is really cool. The backs of the cards it's a fantastic, look. It's a really, really clever little game. And especially my wife is not big into sci-fi. And she adored this game. Like, she already told me this morning, she was like, I want to play that crew game again. That was really good. And it's a really good system. I mean,
yeah, I took this game. I picked up a copy at Essen, and I was lucky enough to. And I took that copy back to my family over Christmas vacation, and we played Hearts as a family all the time. And they're otherwise not real like gamers. They don't have the collection that you have behind you, we'll say. But we started playing it, and immediately, because we'd already played Hearts quite a bit, it took us no time at all, and it was a hit automatically. So I can vouch for the fact that this is a great family game. I know it won the Kennerspiel, which is kind of the the connoisseur or expert game award, but I don't think that that's limiting the potential audience for this game. I think that it's a great game for everyone.
I really do. I agree. I think it's such a good game to get. It's such a good gateway game, and it's also such a good gamer game. Like it's fantastic. It is like, it's such a good game, and like, bravo, like to Cosmo for bringing it, and for Thomas for like his first design for Cosmos. Like not you. No, like Thomas. For those that don't know, it's a Thomas Singh game, which hopefully we hear a lot more from, because wow, I mean, this his first Kosmos game, and it's like won the Kennerspiel. It's like fantastic job. Like I applaud him. I hope our paths cross one day, so I can tell him that hopefully we can do his game justice, because it's like it's such a good game.
There's a couple of other things that I wanted to make sure were mentioned, and one of them is that there's these promos that we made for this game, and you can find them on our website. If you go to our website, on the top bar, there's this like activities drop-down menu. From there, you can find some print and play for actually a bunch of games, but one of the games is The Crew, and in The Crew, there's this mission to the Demois moon. I can't remember. I'm not a scientist. I don't remember exactly where this moon is. But anyway, so 5 cards that you can print off yourself, and you can go on this crazy cool side adventure. So if you've played through the 50 missions, there's even more content. If you haven't played through the 50 missions and you just wanted to do something different, you can also just download it and print it for free.
I foresee this blowing up on BGG of user content, kind of like Andor, like how it just like blew up with like so much user content.
Gosh, yeah.
I think people are going to, because the mechanics are so simple, I think they're going to come up with some homebrew versions of like different missions that they thought were cool. Like, I'm sure there's going to be someone out there that makes it like impossible to win. Like, and I'm excited to see, like, not only to finish all these missions, but also I love doing that stuff. I love just going, what does someone else's mind do with this also? Like, right. That. So it's such a fantastic game. If you don't have it, you need to go out today with a face mask, hopefully, and some hand sanitizer, and go get this, because it's wonderful.
So apparently the Demois moon is it's a moon of Mars.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I think I mean I did, but I don't know. I forget things.
Amateur.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun. So check that out. Also check this game out. Availability, it should be available, but get it now. It makes me sound like a car salesman, but really, this is a great game. You should just get it. It's great. It doesn't even take up much space. It's not expensive. Yeah. All right, so it looks like we got just a couple of minutes, and so I wanted to make sure that I thank everyone who is watching now or in the future. We're very excited to be a part of Gen Con Online. We think this is a cool thing. Obviously, we'd rather be in person, but we're glad that we still get to interact with everyone. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for Jesus walking us through this game and sharing us how to play, and also just some of your thoughts on it. Really, really appreciate it. Any last words, Jesus, from you?
No, check us out again tomorrow. There's, Oscar and Mike, even though I ride on them, they are fantastic, members of the team. I love dealing with them, and I miss all of the Kosmos team so much, and I miss all the fans. So, but check us out tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing, I'll be doing Targi, and is it Aquila?
Aquilin. Mike and I are going to talk about Aquilin. Whoop, which way is it?
I'm excited for that.
Later today, you're doing Targi tomorrow, and we're also doing My City tomorrow. I have a hard time because this is backwards.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like, not that Cosmos needs to be ramped up anymore, but there are some awesome games in the pipeline that are coming out. I mean, and we haven't even, this is like the first year we're not even talking about the new Exit games that have been dropping. Like, like, there's just so much. Like, it's awesome.
These are so cool too. I can't believe we didn't talk about them. There's two new ones coming out: the Enchanted Forest and the Cemetery of the Night.
And there is also
cool.
There's also going to be a talk about the new adventure game, which I'm looking forward to. It's pretty awesome. So,
all right. Thank you again, Jesus and everybody. I will see you all later today. I hope.
All right.